Good afternoon, students. In the last class, we discussed with the introduction to accounting that we see a lot of things like what is an accounting or define accounting, what are the functions with regard to accounting, features with regard to accounting, objectives with regard to accounting, and what is a bookkeeping, what are the differences between a bookkeeping and an accounting, then what is an accounting equation, like that several cases we already see in the previous classes. So first module is over, introduction to accounting. That please have a look at the first module and please clear off your doubts if and when occurs, okay, arises. I think you people don't have any doubts because I am clearly explaining everything from A to Z like that, and we already do some problems with regard to accounting equation, that is asset is equal to liabilities plus capital, then liability is equal to assets minus capital, and assets minus capital minus asset is equal to capital minus liability, like that. Okay, so we see in the previous classes that for problem also, accounting equation, that also how to solve that one, and two problems we already did, and you need to do but practice problem 3 questions, and I will clear off the doubts regarding the problem once you are doing it, and if you have any problem with that, please let me know. So that is the first module, introduction to accounting. So in the first module, we see the recording, classifying, summarizing, analyzing, interpretation, and interpreting it and communicating the information to the other parties or the outsiders. That's accounting in the So the same procedure, first we need to do the recording, then classifying, then summarizing. So these are the 3 procedures which with regard to accounting. So recording in the journal, classifying in the ledger, and summarizing trial balance, income statement, balance sheet. This is the concept with regard to which one accounting. So that is the thing we need to do, or we need to undergo the classes for this one. So we are going to start the second module, that is which one? The recording of the transaction. So I'm going to share that thing. So please have a look at. So recording the transaction means what? If a transaction is to be entered or a dealing is to be done, based on the date it is recorded in a book. That book is called the journal. So in detail, we are going to study the journal. So we are going to start the chapter, going to start the module 2, that is recording of the transaction, that is the chapter 1, and the another chapter, that is the bank reconciliation statement. So this recording of the transaction, that we'll do now, and then we will, there is some issue with the internet things, that is why. Just a minute, I will change the internet, that one. Then we will check it. Yes, okay. So I'm going to share again that one. So under the recording, some books are to be maintained by every organization to record its day-to-day activities. So these books are called the books of accounts, and it consists of the journal and the ledger. So that is the thing. What is a journal? What is a ledger? That you need to understand now, or you need to, or I'm explaining before you. What is a journal? So there are some books that are maintained by every organization, each and every organization or the firm, in order to record its day-to-day operations. ദൈനംദിന ട്രാൻസാക്ഷൻസ് ഇടപാടുകൾ ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് അല്ലെ റെക്കോർഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് some books are to be maintained. The books are called, these books are called the books of accounts and consist of the journal and ledger. So what is a journal? The word journal is derived from the French word jour, which means a day. ഒരു ദിവസം എന്നുള്ള ഇതാണ് ഫ്രഞ്ചിലെ ജോർ. ആ ഇതിൽ നിന്നാണ് ജേർണൽ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞുള്ള വേർഡ് വന്നത്. Therefore, daily record of the business transaction, that is the journal. So somewhere you write it, daily record of the business transaction. Journal is the book used to record the daily transaction of an organization for the first time from a source document. From something we need to record it. എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒന്ന് നമ്മൾ നേരത്തെ എഴുതിയതിൽ നിന്ന് റെക്കോർഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ്. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ദ ജേർണൽ. അതാണ് സോഴ്സ് ഡോക്യുമെന്റ്. നമ്മൾ ഈ ക്ലാസ് തുടങ്ങുന്നതിന് മുമ്പ് നമ്മൾ കണ്ടായിരുന്നു എന്താണ് ഒരു സോഴ്സ് ഡോക്യുമെന്റ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ. സോ ജേർണൽ ഈസ് എ ബുക്ക് that is used to record the daily transactions of an organization for the first time from a source document. It is also called the books of original entry or book of prime entry. So, book of original entry യാഥാർത്ഥ്യമായിട്ട് എഴുതുന്നത് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ prime entry. It is a chronological record of the transactions of a firm. ഒരു ഫേമിന്റെ ഇടപാടുകളിന്റെ in the order of it happening. അതാണ് ജേർണൽ. അതായത് ക്രോണോളജിക്കൽ ഓർഡറിൽ ഓൺ ദ ഡേറ്റ് ആൻഡ് ദ ടൈം ടു ബി റെക്കോർഡഡ്. ഓർ ടൈം ഈസ് നോട്ട് റെക്കോർഡഡ് ബട്ട് ബേസ്ഡ് ഓൺ ദ ഹാപ്പനിങ് ഓഫ് ദ ഇവന്റ്. ഹാപ്പനിങ് ഓഫ് ദ ഇവന്റ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഇന്ന് നടന്നത് രണ്ട് ഇവന്റ് നടന്നെങ്കിൽ ആദ്യം നടന്നതാണ് ആദ്യം എഴുതേണ്ടത്, രണ്ടാമത് നടന്നതല്ല ആദ്യം എഴുതുന്നത്. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ദ ക്രോണോളജിക്കൽ ഓർഡർ ഓൺ ദ ഡേ ഓഫ് ഇറ്റ്സ് occurrence. അതാണ് ഈ ക്രോണോളജിക്കൽ ഓർഡർ വിച്ച് മീൻസ്. സോ ജേർണൽ ഈസ് ദ ബുക്ക് യൂസ്ഡ് ടു റെക്കോർഡ് the daily transactions of an organization for the first time from a source document. It is also called the book of original entry. So write somewhere in your notebook like that or short notes, book of original entry, that is the journal, or book of the primary entry or prime entry, that is what journal. So journal ലാണ് ആദ്യം നമ്മൾ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു ട്രാൻസാക്ഷൻ നടന്നാൽ that is to be recorded. ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരു സെയിൽസ് നടന്നാൽ സെയിൽസിന്റെ രീതിയിലുള്ള എൻട്രി എഴുതും, that is in the journal proper or journal. Transactions are recorded in the journal in the order in which they occur, indicating the amount and name of the account to be debited, the amount and name of the account to be credited, and a brief explanation regarding the nature of the transaction itself. So, the amount and name of the account to be debited. ഏതൊക്കെ അക്കൗണ്ട് ആണ് ഡെബിറ്റ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്, ഏതൊക്കെ അക്കൗണ്ട് ആണ് ക്രെഡിറ്റ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്, അതിന്റെ amount and name to be mentioned, also having the explanation, that is called narration. അതാണ് ഓർക്കേണ്ടത്. A brief explanation regarding the transaction. So if a credit sale is made, party debtor to sales account എന്നുള്ളതാണ് എൻട്രി വരേണ്ടത്. സോ ആ പാർട്ടി ഡെറ്റർ ഏത് പാർട്ടിക്കാണ് സാധനം കിട്ടിയത്, എന്താണ് പോകുന്നത്, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഗോയിങ് ഔട്ട് ഈസ് ദ സെയിൽസ്. ഗുഡ്സ് എന്നൊരു ഇതില്ലാത്തതുകൊണ്ട് സെയിൽ ആയിട്ട് ട്രീറ്റ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് സെയിൽസ് അക്കൗണ്ടിന് ക്രെഡിറ്റ് കൊടുത്തു. പാർട്ടിയുടെ അക്കൗണ്ടിന് ആരാണോ കിട്ടുന്നത്, ഓക്കെ, അലക്സ് ഡെറ്റർ ടു സെയിൽസ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ക്രെഡിറ്റ് സെയിൽസ് ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ടു ബി റിസീവ്ഡ് ബൈ ഹും, അലക്സിനാണ് കിട്ടിയത്. ഓക്കെ, ഇഫ് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് എ ക്യാഷ് സെയിൽ, ക്യാഷ് അക്കൗണ്ട് ഡെറ്റർ ടു സെയിൽ. അപ്പൊ എന്താ, ദാറ്റ് ഡെബിറ്റഡ് എമൗണ്ട് and the name should be mentioned, and the credited amount and the name should be mentioned, and a brief explanation of that transaction is there. That brief explanation is called narration. So that is the case. Amount and name of the account to be debited. In our example, cash account debtor. So that is debited. To sales account, that is the credit. So the amount and name of the account to be credited, and also a brief explanation regarding the nature of the transaction. What transaction to be undergone that one. So being for being credit sales made, cash sales made, finish, that is the narration. So adana, a brief explanation is there, the amount and the name of the account to be debited, the amount and the name of the account to be credited. These three things should be there in a journal. Therefore, a journal is a record of all the daily transactions of a business in the order in which they occur. That is the chronological order. അത് occur ചെയ്യുന്ന ഇതിനനുസരിച്ച് അതാണ് എന്തെന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. That is the journal. Next, we are going to see journalizing. What is journalizing? The process of recording the transactions in the journal is called journalizing. അതായത് ജേണൽ എന്നുള്ള ആ ഇതിന്റെ ബുക്കില് എഴുതുന്ന റെക്കോർഡിംഗ് ദ ട്രാൻസാക്ഷൻ ആ പ്രൊസീജിയർ അല്ലെ ആ പ്രോസസ്സിനെയാണ് ജേർണലൈസിംഗ്. ഇറ്റ് മീൻസ് ദ ആക്ട് ഓഫ് എന്ററിംഗ് ദ ട്രാൻസാക്ഷൻസ് ഇൻ ദ ജേണൽ. ജേണലിലോട്ട് ട്രാൻസാക്ഷൻസ് ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ടു ബി എന്റേർഡ് ഇൻ ടു ആ പ്രവൃത്തി അതാണ് ജേർണലൈസിംഗ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. വാട്ട് ഈസ് എ ജേർണൽ എൻട്രി? The transactions that is recorded in the journal is called the journal entry. So the record of a transaction in the journal is called the journal entry. Two types of the journal entries are there: simple journal entry and compound journal entry. So we need to see what is a simple journal entry and what is a compound journal entry. That in the near classes we will see it. Okay. So what is a journal entry? The record of a transaction in the journal is called a journal entry. So that you understood already. Journalizing means what? Process of recording the transactions in the journal is called journalizing. Then two types of journal entries are there: simple journal entry and compound journal entry. A journal entry having only one debit and one credit is known as simple journal entry, while a journal entry having two debits and one credit is called a compound journal entry, or two credits and one debit, whatever be the case. അതായത് രണ്ട് കേസും ക്രെഡിറ്റ് വരേണ്ട ഒരേ ഹെഡാണെന്ന് വെച്ചു. സോ ഡെബിറ്റ് ദാറ്റ് വൺ debited to credit ഒറ്റ എൻട്രി മതി. Total of that is to be credited. So that is the case. A journal entry having only one debit and one credit is the simple journal entry, while the other one so for example, see, paid rent. Rent account is to be debited and cash account is to be credited. Why the rent is to be credited? It's a nominal account, isn't it? Expenses and losses, that is to be debited as per the rules with regard to the account. That is, we already see, isn't it? Personal account, real account, nominal account. Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Debit all expenses and losses and credit all incomes and gains. So that is paid rent. Rent is an expense. So that is to be debited. Debit all expenses and losses. And credit all incomes and gains. Cash is not an income, but cash is an asset. Debit what comes in and credit what goes out. Cash is going out in the form of rent paying. So rent is to be debited and cash is to be credited. So a journal, that is the, see the narration, paid rent. A journal entry having more than one debit and one credit is known as compound journal entry. So journal entry having one debit and one credit is called a simple journal entry or single journal entry. Single rent account debit to cash. Rent account is debited because rent is paid, expenditure, nominal account, and cash is an asset, real account. Debit what comes in and credit what goes out. Going out is what? The cash. So that is the case, rent account debtor to cash, simple journal entry. While the other case, journal entry having more than one debit or one credit is known as compound journal entry. That is, paid wages 10,000 and salary 5,000. See the entry. Wages, that is a expenditure. Salary, also an expenditure. Both are debited. What is paying? Cash is paying in the form of wages and salary. So cash is to be credited and wages and their salary to be debited. So see how the entry is coming. Wages account at 10,000, salaries account at 5,000, to cash account 15,000, because nominal, first two cases are nominal expenditure or nominal account, not nominal expenditure, nominal account. The rule with regard to nominal account is debit all expenses and losses and credit all incomes and gains. So that is the case. Wages account is 10,000 debited, salaries account 5,000 debited. The credit is the same. Wages account attached to cash, salary account attached to cash. ഒരേ ഇത് തന്നെയല്ലേ ക്രെഡിറ്റ് വരുന്നത്. എന്താണ് പോകുന്നത്? Cash is going out from the business. So credit what goes out. Cash is going out. So cash account is credited. So that is This is the compound journal entry, and the previous one is the simple journal entry. Understand? So I think you understood this. What is a simple journal entry and a compound journal entry? And an entry having one debit and one credit is the simple journal entry, while more than one debit or more than one credit, that is the compound journal entry. Right. Another term is narration. What is a narration? A statement that explains the nature of the transaction given in the particulars column of the journal within brackets is called narration. The explanation, brief explanation relating to the transactions occur. For example, in the previous case, C, paid wages and salary. We are writing in that way because wages and salary are paid in the form of cash. Or cash is going out from the business for what? Payment of wages and salary. That is the narration. A brief explanation or description of the transactions occur. That is called narration, and narration is a brief explanation of the transaction. See the format of a journal. That is date, particulars column, ledger folio column, debit, credit, like that. Then the date column is used to record the date of the transaction. Particulars column is meant for recording the journal entry and the narration. And ledger folio means, LF means ledger folio, that is the page number in the ledger account. Rather, to check a comparison between the journal and ledger, rather, ledgerle 15ാമത്തെ പേജ് എടുത്താൽ നമുക്ക് ഈ ട്രാൻസാക്ഷൻ റിലേറ്റ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത് കിട്ടും. അപ്പം ലെഡ്ജർ പ്രിപ്പയർ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ അതിനകത്ത് ജേർണൽ ഫോളിയോ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞൊരു കോളം ഉണ്ടാകും. That journal folio means 6th page of journal. അതായത് a comparison between the pages so that it is easily to identify where the errors occurs, or is there any malpractice or manipulation occur, like that. Or when accounting entries are there with the errors, we need to check it that way. ഏത് ഇതിനകത്താണ് പ്രോബ്ലം? കാര്യം ലെഡ്ജർ ബാലൻസ് ഒന്നുകിൽ ജേർണലി പ്രോബ്ലം ഉണ്ടാകും അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ലെഡ്ജറി പ്രോബ്ലം ഉണ്ടാകും. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പൊ അതാണ് പറഞ്ഞത്. ലെഡ്ജർ LF means ledger folio, page means the ledger folio, that is the page number, and it is used to create, it is used to enter the page number of the ledger account, and DR means debit, and it is used to record the debit amount of the transaction, and CR means credit, it is used to record the credit amount of the transaction. So we see what are things today. What is a journal? What is journalizing? What is a journal entry? And what is a simple types of journal entry? That is simple journal entry, compound journal entry. Journal entry having one debit and one credit is termed as simple journal entry. For example, cash account debtor to sales or rent account debtor to cash. While more than one credit or debit is there, that is called which one? Compound journal entry. That is when salary and rent is paid, rent account debtor, salary account debtor to cash, or wages account debtor, salary account debtor to cash. See, 2 debit, 1 credit, because both are the same. Wages account debtor to cash and salary account debtor to cash. Clear? So that is the case. And then format of a journal. Journal will format it, and also that is the thing. So please have a look at today's classes and please see, please clear off your doubts as I went on. And for today, I'm going to wind up the session because I'm not putting pressure on you regarding too much topics to be taken at this stretch. So just slowly we will start with the second module and all. So thank you for the day.